It's got full.
Are you doing, brother?
Oh, we're live. Here we go. We are live. Welcome in.
there we
SEC
go.
Media
We
Days,
got it.
Day 1. Cole Kublik. This is Cube Show live for the first time ever from SEC Media Days. Connor O'Gara is not going to be a part of the show. He's walking away. LSU in tow today.
Yes, sir.
People are kind of on different sides of the fence. Rivers, we made it. We're live. We did it. Yeah, we did it. Where are you on SEC National Championship contender LSU, or we'll wait and see LSU?
I'm like all the way to national title contender just yet. Like I think I reserved that for like 3 teams, and I don't even know that I know who those 3 teams are. But I am fully in, like, make the playoff, make a run, just not to the final stages yet. And I think they need to. I think they have to. I think that should be the expectation. I think they have the team to be able to go out there and do that. I think when you look at who they brought in, who they have coming back, the coaching moves that they've made, I mean, we know this, Cole. Like, it'd be a disappointment, I think, if they don't make it to there. I'm not saying that it would get uncomfortable. I'm not saying there'd be like a hot seat conversation. But I think, like, there would be some people out there that would get really loud if they have an 8-win season. If they have maybe even a 9-win season, I don't know. But if they go 10-2, I think that gets them exactly where they want to go.
So there are a lot of folks that will learn something about LSU today. You know the program as well, better than anybody. Is there a takeaway you can get from maybe not even something they say to you, but you hear them say to somebody else, either BK, Nuss, anybody that was here today?
I think the most intriguing thing for me from LSU today was the fact that they're not running away from the Clemson game, because Cole, in the years past, and it's no secret, they've lost their 5 openers going back all the way, like 2019, Joe Burrow, that team, that's the last one that won one, and they talked about it today. Like, they were Clemson. Okay. And they said, we got paw prints on our bags that we hit in our all-season training. So the linemen, when they're hitting a bag, it's got a Clemson paw print on it. They've got 1-0 all across the locker room talking about this Clemson game and having to win that. In years past, it hasn't been that. In years, like, they've been like, it's just another game on the schedule. I don't like that attitude. Like, when you have a marquee opponent like that, like, you attack it, and you attack it head on. Like, you go and try to get after their ass, and you make it all about this one game. And then next week, guess what? We'll figure it out. We'll hit reset, and we'll make Louisiana Tech that game to us. But they need to make a point of emphasis of showing well, starting fast in that Clemson game, because they haven't done that. And
Can
then
that work against you, though, if you do drop that game like last year? You weren't out of it, and a lot of people were like, well, LSU, they got their work cut out for them. Oh, well.
Like they did a couple years ago and still made it to Atlanta. So the season's not over. But, man, you make it so damn hard on yourself. Like, when you start out 0-1 and you hadn't even played an SEC game yet, and all of a sudden you got to go to Alabama, and you got to go to Ole Miss, and you got to play, like, all these games. And you got to go to Vanderbilt. Like we saw last year, that's a little different now. You start so far behind the 8 ball, then you got to be perfect. And football is not a sport that you ever want to try to be perfect. When you try to be perfect, that's when you have your most mistakes. And so it's as must-win, Cole, as must-win can possibly be for a regular season football game.
So we asked Nuss today, Garrett Nussmeier, LSU quarterback, Jacob Hester, Cole Kublik, Cube Show, live Cube Show for the first time ever from SEC Media Days, Day 1.
He chose a fullback to be his first guest live. No big deal.
That's the way we roll here. We put our hand in the dirt.
That's right.
Asked him about the run game, but specifically his legs in the run game. Not that he needs to do a lot, but there were times when it almost felt like just a hardcore stance, again, leaving the pocket.
Right. Yeah.
Or leave the pocket, but not leave over the line of scrimmage. Right. And he said, no, there's an emphasis on that now, being able to maneuver in the pocket a little bit more. Yeah. And that went into a question about adding Coach Atkins in the run game. You know, like I know, that there has to be more of an emphasis of just handing the football off. Yeah. Call it and run it. Doesn't matter what the look is. Just prove to people, by God, we will hand the ball off. I think you and I did a show after the Alabama game a couple of days later, and I was like, Jacob, you go outside zone for 18 yards, 2 plays later, 8 yards, and we don't see it in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Like, that can't happen again. No. How do you ensure that doesn't happen again?
They became like a 50% inside zone team, right? And inside zone with probably like a zone read element to it. Why are we doing that, right? Because we know Garrett Nussmeier is not going to pull it. And, like, I don't know that you want him pulling it and running it, but fans were like, he needs to pull it. It's wide open. Okay. But that doesn't even really need to be in the repertoire. Like, if he's not going to pull it, just don't run it. Like you said, like, come up to the line of scrimmage. Nobody, like, because by the end of the year, and it's a Texas A&M game that I went back and watched, their defensive end didn't care if you pulled it. If you pull it, you'll get a 5-yard gain. The next level will come up and tackle you, and we'll tip our cap. We'll play another down. They were crashing on everything. So when you're running inside zone and the defensive end has nothing holding him on the backside, he's coming like a bat out of hell to go hit the running back. Yeah, and on a zone run for a running back, I love a cutback.
Yep.
Right? I'm not looking for it, but if the offense.
We talk about balance all the time in offense. Your run play loses its balance.
Yes.
It becomes a one-dimensional run play, and that is you better be really good with that center guard tackle over there, or else we're not going anywhere.
Because if you don't win right there, it takes away everything. And so, like as a running back, I love open step crossover. I'm pressing. I see that backside backer cheat a little too much, and I know that the end is holding on to the quarterback. I'm going right there, and I'm hitting 17-yard gain. But when the defensive end's crashing down, he might hit me in the backfield. The ball might go up in the air.
Yep.
So if you're not going to pull it, which, again, I don't think they should, just don't run it. Like you said, hey, line up, run zone just to run it. No, threat of a quarterback run counter, run power. Get up there, run the football. They've got the running backs to do it. Now this offensive line is going to be different. You have 4 guys drafted.
We'll see.
But the other offensive line, they were elite pass protectors. They weren't elite in the run game.
You're not going to make me go Moscona on you from this morning, are you?
What do you mean?
Moscona comes and sits down with us this morning, and he was like, that group last year couldn't run block. And
they could run block,
I
but
said,
they were elite in pass.
Do we know that?
Yeah.
He's like, Cole, there was a red zone. I said, how many times they hand the ball off?
Yeah.
It's like, see, I'm under the impression they weren't given the chance to be a good run blocking team.
You know how many powers they ran last year? LSU football, lining up and running power.
13?
8.
Yeah. Not
8
many.
power.
Not many at all.
We used to run 8 powers in the first half. I mean,
how many toss isos did you guys run?
A lot, all of them. But like to your point though, like, hey, it's a lineup in pistol, and you can run power out of pistol. If you want to live in the gun, there's nothing. What changes?
Well, and
the running back can read it.
You can also line up in pistol, and then offset late, and just let your back go to the right or left at the last minute, snap the ball, and at least that inherent advantage is somewhat.
You can run same side power out of gun.
Yeah.
Shuffle, get it, go the A gap to expand. So I do think like the diversity in the run game, because 2 years ago you had a unicorn, you had a cheat code. With Jaden Daniels, I'm okay with you running inside zone because he might pull and go 85.
Yeah.
When that leaves, you do have to change it. And I do think that there was better things. So they started to run some counter, getting the offensive line, who's an athletic group, in space, and it started to work and it started to gain some hay. But yeah, I'm not saying that offensive line couldn't run block. They were better in pass protection, but I think this one's better in run blocking than they are pass protection, and we'll see if that changes.
All right, I want to go to a couple other things that I heard, kind of learned today. Vanderbilt, and I know normally people at media days would roll their eyes and say, "Okay, on to the next team." We'll get to this in a moment, but my whole sort of big picture idea of media days is the middle of the pack.
Yeah,
because I think whether you want to go Texas, Georgia, Bama. If you want to throw LSU in there, your top tier teams, take 1, 2, or 3 of the 4, whatever. There's about 8 or 10 teams that are next.
Yep.
And they're not far apart from one another. And I'm having a hard time figuring out who's going backwards.
Right.
And I've said this to a lot of people in different interviews I did today. I said, guys, Vandy's not going backwards. They said, they're not?
Yeah.
And I said, I understand every other year. Yeah, that was the mentality. But I think they have the most underrated running back in the SEC in Cedric Alexander. Yep. They upgraded the offensive line. They have a total mismatch at tight end, no matter where they are, no matter who they're playing. And they have another tight end that'll come in and block your rear end off. They don't mind going with there. And their quarterback's a game changer. He can take over a game. First thing Clark Lee talks to us about today, because I love his off-season studies that he talks about. He said, we went back and we looked at yards before contact.
Yep.
He said, that's got to change. He said there was an emphasis on it. It's why we went and got the offensive lineman we did. And he wasn't talking about Pavia. He was talking about Cedric Alexander.
For sure.
Like, we got to get him in space. And all the defense is back.
The whole defense is and a lot of them are homegrown too.
Yep.
They're just older veteran players. But to your point, when you look at their changes, it was wholesale changes on the offensive front. Like they knew, hey, we got to get better.
It's not enough.
It is not enough. And as a running back, like you have got to give me the ability to get into the line of scrimmage untouched, so I can read my keys. I can create a head of steam going downhill. And they were one of the worst in the country at yards before contact. Yes. And so if they get that fixed, you're right. And they got a receiver on the edge too that's a good player. So Diego Pavia to me,
Cheryl out there can be a deep threat.
I think he can be. Diego Pavia, like if he's going into a fire, I'm following that guy.
No doubt.
And if he's like, hey, I don't know how we're going to put it out, but we're going to get it done. I'm like, yeah, we are. We're going to get it done. I talked to him for like 7 minutes earlier, and I'm like, I want to go. Like,
I'll block for you today. I said that when we left our TV meetings with him both times this past year. I said, I'll block for that guy.
Every
We
day.
asked him, Jacob, you're going to love this. We're in a TV meeting, and we got towards the end, and Tom said, what is your message to your offense in the huddle or on the sideline when things are not going well?
Yeah.
And he gave like a 4-minute perfect coach speak answer
Yeah.
about this. And he sat back and he goes, and you know, at the end of the day, I just tell him, guys, you got me.
That's it.
Let's rock.
That's
like,
it.
That's all you need.
So very rarely does it happen where you've got a guy that like can be who he is as a quarterback. Like quarterbacks are a little bit different. You got to be wired a little bit different. You and I both every morning we work with one, right? It's a little bit different. He has got like the most fullback mentality, middle linebacker mentality. Like they feed off of that. Like he brings something to them. So I covered their game, LSU Vandy. He made a big play, and he was talking trash to the DBs. Then he made his way back to the linebackers as he's walking back to the huddle. Then he let the D-line know.
He does not care.
And his entire team was like jawing with him, like,
He
let's
does
go.
not
And
care.
the next play, he had like a 30-yard run.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what he brings. And people are like, the book's going to be out on him. I'm like, there's not a book because I don't know what the hell he's going to do.
Here's the thing, Jacob, that bothers me about that is there are too many options inside that offense for it to be figured out.
True.
And if he can develop a little more as a passer,
Yeah.
even just in the intermediate game, and probably Greg and I have talked about this a lot. Greg leans more towards the decision making
Yeah.
of throw the ball away.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, take the first route. I know it's a shorter one. Take it, live with it, and then fight. Like if he becomes a little bit more precise with that, you're not just going to say, oh, we've played this group, we can stop them. And by the way, that would be every offense in the league.
I know.
I mean, it doesn't work that way.
And I think he's got such good chaotic energy that he's
Yes.
even tougher to figure out because you don't really know. Sometimes I don't
He
really-
makes you worry about it.
He does. He does. And look, if he can just be like, okay, against Bama, he was 80% completion percentage. He's not going to live there. I get that. But if he can be who he was in the Georgia Tech bowl game, he threw like 20 passes. He completed 14 of them,
Yep.
and he threw for like 185, a couple scores, and then he ran for 2 more. Like that's if he lives
Headbutt a
there.
dude on the sideline.
I love it.
You're fine.
Exactly. Like if he lives there, Vanderbilt has a chance to, I don't know, 9 games? I mean, their schedule, you look at it, it's got
Like I talked to Dari earlier,
nice
and
spots.
Dari's like, no way they're going over 7 wins, right? And I was like, why not?
Yeah. Their win totals, I think it's like
I
4.5.
know. It's the easiest money there is in
Hammered.
Vegas right now. It's not even close. So he said, we asked Clark Lee earlier this morning, too, about Greg kind of asked about some of the comments. And I said, how much media training? It's kind of sarcastic. And he said, listen, here's the deal. As he crossed a few lines, yes. He's like, but what you guys need to remember is I don't want to change Diego
Nope,
Pavia.
can't.
I want Diego Pavia right now. He said, I want to help Diego Pavia.
Yeah.
But we need him
Yeah.
to be him, and I think that's key. We talked to DQ Smith from South Carolina, and there are a lot of people that are really down on this defense right now, and I get it because I was high on them last year because of the D tackles and because they did so well in the
Kyle
portal.
Kennard.
We weren't
Yeah.
talking about him last year. We weren't talking about Demetrius Knight here last year.
No.
I mean, we were talking about his guys, and now all of a sudden because some of those guys are gone, which we
Yeah.
weren't talking about last year, all of a sudden, and so I started looking at it. Judge Collier, DQ Smith. You got guys on the edge, lighter edge guys that they've got. His name escapes me right now. Dad played in the NFL. They got guys all over the place that have been in this defense.
Right.
And I just think if the offense takes a little bit of a step and the defense is a little bit of a step down, the team is not going to be that different. And now you have a takeover guy on both sides of the ball. I'm not with this whole Sellers and Dylan Stewart are great, but the rest isn't going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And also, let's not act like Lenore Sellers had game changers last year. Like he did a lot of that. Rocket Sanders, I'm going to give him his flowers,
He stayed
obviously.
healthy.
But like the weapons weren't just outstanding, and I think the weapons are better this year for them. I think you're going to have some players. Bennett, I think, takes a step up. I think he becomes a true threat at receiver. I think he'll be like an 800-yard
They like some
kind
of
of
their
guy.
freshman wideouts too.
Like,
So.
what are you going to get from Nick Harbor? I don't know. Like, I feel like we talk about him because he's on the freak list that Bruce Feldman puts out every year. But, like, okay, you quit track, but what now?
But you know what you're getting no matter what? A threat.
You are.
Nobody's going to let him run down the sideline one-on-one.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to him.
He's going to hop over
You
you.
have to, there's
Well, I'm not going to
coverage.
say he's going
There's,
to hop over you and catch him.
there's
He's gonna get
coverage
over
things that you have
Yeah.
to do.
He's going to get
because he's
past
a
you and
threat.
over you. The catching it part, yeah, we'll see.
So, like, offensively, I know it sounds crazy, but, like, in Lenore Sellers, we trust. They'll figure that out. Defensively, there's names that you don't know. And you're right. Like, people weren't talking about Kyle Kennard. Like, the only reason we knew because you cover games, and I do on 84. We talk about every team. But here, well, nobody talking about Kyle Kennard.
Nope.
You know, and so like they do have some candidates of players like that. They always have front seven guys. Like you go back to when I played, when you played, they got front seven guys in South Carolina. So
here's the other part that we pay attention to it, but we don't say it this way. And you'll agree with this, I'm almost certain. Shane Beamer has done more with less out of the portal than anyone.
Yeah.
Mario Anderson a couple of years ago, almost 1,000-yard rusher from D2. Nick Gargiulo, Ivy League, started every game at center and was a pretty good center for him.
Yeah.
We just mentioned Demetrius Knight.
Yep.
How many battles were they in for him?
Yeah, zero.
Demetrius Knight told me himself that there were no other Division I offers.
Right.
Like, that's it. So,
And Rocky Sanders was a guy that had success at Arkansas, but people felt like they couldn't trust him.
They said he's not going to be
Yeah,
healthy.
we'll take that guy.
Can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
How about Joshua Simon?
Yep.
You could make an argument Joshua Simon was their MVP last year.
Yeah.
Like big catches at big moments in big games. Now he wasn't, but he was in that discussion.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about the tight end from Western Kentucky a few
Right.
years ago. So I think also there's going to be 1, 2, 3 guys that a year from now we're sitting there going, man, we weren't talking about that dude. Because Shane just his staff, they find a way to get
So
him.
there's 2 coaches in the country. It's not to say they're the best coaches. There's 2 coaches in the country that I think there's not a better coach that could coach the program like they do. Shane Beamer at South Carolina, and I think Jeff Rom at Louisville.
Okay.
I think those 2 coaches coach that program as well as that program can be coached. Like they have that program figured out. And people might hear that and be like, oh my gosh, you could throw Nick Saban on. Maybe so. But I'm just telling you, as far as fit, as far as what they have to work with, they get the most out of it. And I think those 2 coaches do it as well as anybody. And they do it different ways. Rom actually does a deep portal dive, and they add 30 new players to the roster every cycle, and it works for them. Shane Beamer adds a couple here and there. He's got a lot of homegrown guys that you don't know about yet, and he's going to go out there, and they're going to play to the best of what they have.
So Ole Miss here as well, and fairly quiet. I didn't expect it to be loud, but the people are going to point to some different things. Receivers being gone, I'm not worried about it. Defensive line, you can make a real argument.
Yes.
That group's going to be different no matter what. And TJ Daugherty told me the same, like next man up, I get it, next Savage up, the whole thing. Yeah, they ain't what they were last. Like Walter Nolan's
that was the best front seven Ole Miss has had in their football history.
Yeah.
And I feel confident in saying.
And Prince of Men is not Prince Lee, Umanmielen. Like that's not the same guy. So
Walter Nolan goes top 16 in the draft.
Yeah. But people are pointing to quarterback and saying, oh, well, new quarterback, young, inexperienced. When was the last time we asked the question, can Lane Kiffin and his quarterback be okay?
Never worried about that.
We've never asked that question. Even
Never
when they
worried
moved the
about it.
running back to quarterback at Alabama, no one was worried about it.
If there's one position where I'm not going to harp on, it's Lane Kiffin getting a new quarterback. I'm not worried about him trying to find a way to break in a new quarterback because he has done it so many times. He's proven, himself so many different times. And so at that position with that coach, I feel like they're going to be figured out. Here's where Ole
Rivers
Miss
is helping us with the audience. He made sure it was okay. So
Okay,
we're just
people can hear us? Okay, good. So I was like, well, have we just been waxing poetic about all these teams and nobody can hear us? For Ole Miss, okay, so I'm taking the quarterback worry. I've seen him, in small sample size, sure. If Ole Miss can't run the football, that offense can't work like it's supposed to work.
Right.
And I just talked to Lane Kiffin 10 minutes ago. He agreed with me. They didn't run the football last year like they've been. Like, that's a misconception of Levy, of Heupel, and of Kiffin. People just think fast means passing. They all 3 want to run the football first. Lane Kiffin
100%.
wants to run the football before he throws it. They couldn't last year. Now, they overcame it a lot, right? And Jackson made some incredible plays. But think about it, Florida. Couldn't really get the run game going. Jackson had tried to do it by himself. Florida knew it. They were teeing off on him. Kentucky and LSU. If they had a running
Be
game.
careful say teeing off on him because they told me that the offensive line was good last year.
Okay, well, they teed off on him. LSU and Kentucky, they were winning those games and couldn't put them away because they couldn't, perfect format offense.
Yeah, couldn't run it.
And they gave LSU another chance. Gary Nussmeier goes down the field, scores, overtime, boom, wins. Kentucky, they couldn't put them away because they couldn't run the football. It's not quarterback for Ole Miss. Is Logan Diggs healthy, and can they run the
He can
football?
be a hammer.
He can be,
I
yes.
still think the offensive line's a massive concern.
It is. There's a lot of new.
There is.
A lot
It's
of new
not
there.
always better. It's not always good.
better.
I'll say you brought up Logan Diggs. He's not getting enough run. Because I can remember asking Denbrock 2 years ago. I was like, "Hey, coach, every time that kid gets the ball, like he hammers people.
Yeah.
Do you ever think I need to give him the ball a bit more?" And he sat back in his seat. Mike Denbrock, he's OC at Notre Dame now, and he said,
Had
"You
him
know
at 2 different places, I think maybe. Or we recruited him at Notre Dame and they coached him at LSU.
what? Okay, yeah." So he said, he goes, "You know what? You're right." He He said, but then I look out and I see 8, and then I see 13, and I see what 1 can do, and I'm like, yeah, no, we're good.
Right.
We're going to
Yeah.
throw the ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but he can be that guy, but I'm not convinced that the offensive line is going to be there. But I will say this. I love the Ole Miss tight end room.
Yeah.
And that's what Lane will tell you, Levy will tell you, any of those guys in that offense. Look at Tennessee last year.
Yep.
Those tight ends were great.
Yep.
The tight end room unlocks it.
Yep.
And Ole Miss does have that. Now, is the offensive line enough to go with it? Maybe not. Clark Lee heading out. Man, he's been here all freaking
He's been
day.
here since
All
5:30 a.m.
freaking
because he's
day.
a fullback. He knows what he's doing, right? Too gritty to be pretty. So your tight end.
This is what he tells me today. He says 50% what you play, 50% how you play. Coach, come here real quick. Negative return of too much. How great is that? Like,
I love it.
how do you remember all these things? That's what I need to know. Like, you got statement, quote, statement. Like, how does that stay in your brain? I don't understand.
Because he's the smartest
You
fullback
just
I've
throw
ever
them
met.
out nonstop. I don't understand. Like, it's amazing.
They're like
I'm sitting here. Look, I'm trying to write them down today. I can't even get them all down.
they're so ingrained.
That's right.
When I saw the sign that was showing maybe the Vanderbilt sign they put on the
Yeah.
doors, is this a dome?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube.
I was shocked with the size of my dome. So like, and also like how pale. So like,
Yeah.
obviously there's a brain in there that allows me to hang on to something.
Hey, that thing was
We
a
need some
wrecking
Photoshop.
ball, though. I think it was a wrecking ball back in the day.
Creative team a little bit. I said, there's no way that this. It looks like I have a helmet on. You know, like help me out a little bit. Maybe a little bit of take some of the shine off.
So I just wear a hat everywhere.
I got you.
Yeah,
That's good.
try to cover it up.
Well, thanks, Coach. We
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Oh, good to be with you guys. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach.
There it is. Cube Show.
I love my man, Clark Lee.
Had him this morning on McElroy and Cubic. Now we got him on Cube Show.
I mean,
love
I had him
Clark Lee.
over.
He's
I had him
awesome.
off campus. Gave us, all. We had a grip string, like
Oh.
little test.
Okay.
You know who got the most in the room, players included? Clark Lee,
No way.
highest.
Do you think we've lost some emphasis on grip strength?
He went 147. I went 146. And then we had a couple of players
Mine's
come
not up
in.
there. Mine's down.
Dorian got 120.
I
120
don't feel
for
like they
Dorian.
work the grip strength like we used to.
They don't
We
have
used to
yeah,
carry
well,
the 45-pound bumpers, which were
Yeah.
like they're not like the way they are now. They were thick.
Yeah.
And we used to have to walk up and down the
Yep.
field carrying those.
I do want to get back to tight end, though, because, okay, we talked about Josh Heupel in Tennessee and being able to run the football, and that's a point of emphasis. They do it out of 11 because their tight ends can do so much in the blocking. Now, the receivers do, too. I want to give them their credit. They'll jump into 12, certainly, for sure. But, like, out of 11, to be able to get some of the runs done that they do, you can't do it without a tight end. To do what he's doing, depending on power count or whatever it might be, I'm like he's got to do some fullback stuff, and not every tight end wants to do that.
But you know what Ole Miss does? It's what you were complaining earlier that LSU doesn't do, and that's continuously evolve in the run game.
Yep.
Like, they don't just run inside-outside zone. Like, they run that split field zone
I
where
know.
they make it look like counter. So the back will give you a counter step. They come back, and then they're blocking outside zone this way. And You're
Yep.
like, wait, what? And the linebackers are just flying this way. And you're
You
like, woo, they got him right there.
So
And they'll split the tight end
Yeah.
with it. And it's just like, how do they? Yeah, the creativity in the Ole Miss run game is also incredible.
the most creative run games I saw last year, Ole Miss, Boise State, and Arizona State.
I love
Those Arizona State will run anything and everything. They'll run 12 different runs in a single game, and you never knew what was coming.
11 of them are gap scheme.
Yeah, but it was going to be a
They'll
different
pull
way to get to
anybody
it
and
too.
everybody any single time.
It was going to
They
be a
don't care.
fun way to get to it. It's going to be a different way to get
Yeah.
to it. They'll run everything. Like
I
Boise
love how
State,
they operate.
Ashton Genty's incredible. Cam Scottaboo, incredible. But they were helped by diversity in the run game. If you're running just inside zone and you're not great on the offensive line, like elite great, you're going to be average.
All right, so the next 2 days, we're going to have Auburn and Alabama here. Obviously, you have a radio show in the morning the same time as ours, so I'm not able to visit with you too much during the season and in the off season. I want to get your thoughts on both. The ceiling for Auburn is high. The expectations high for some not buying it. I'm just interested kind of where you see this team going this season.
I think one of the top 5 receiver rooms in the country. Can Jackson Arnold give them the ball? I mean, Auburn's going to find a way to run the football. They're going to have a guy that can run the football. I typically don't worry about that position at that school. And I know it's not in absolutes, but for the most part, it's like, oh, cool. Auburn's got another 220-pound running back that's coming downhill with bad intentions.
They're not super dynamic there, but I don't think they have.
But you don't have to.
No.
No, like we
Not
talked
with
about
what they're
earlier.
going to force you to defend on the perimeter. You should be fine.
I think it's
And
really
quarterback run will be a lot different.
it will be. It will be.
He's not just a guy who can keep it every now and then. He can
Yes.
get there from 60.
Can he make the throws when they ask him to make the throws? I think last year our assessment of Jackson Arnold was probably unfair because he was throwing to Uber drivers, it felt like, at the end of the year. Everybody was hurt. And that's I'm sorry, but like all his weapons were hurt. Like every single one of them. Right. And so like for me, it's like we don't truly know like what version of Jackson Arnold we're going to get. And for Auburn, that's the story. That look, they've got a front seven that's got some nice pieces. I love their linebacker room. Can he make the throws to the receiver room? Singleton, he was on our all meathead team as a receiver.
There's a couple kids in this league right now that people just refuse to learn about, and he's one of them. It's like, I know y'all didn't watch the ACC, but this is not a trap guy. This is not a hand the ball guy. Like, he can run routes. He can attack the football 40, 50 yards down the field. Like, he is dynamic in every way possible.
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can find it. But so every year in the Phil Steele magazine, they allow our show off campus to put an all meathead team together. And he was on. I've
heard you guys talk.
He's a receiver on the all meathead team. And let me just tell you something. That is the hardest position to make it because
no doubt
you can't just be out there running routes to get on the all meathead team. He will do the dirty work. He's going to route you up. He's going to run past you. He is a complete receiver. And you're right. People, and Georgia Tech in general, doesn't get enough love in like circles like this, but he was their best player.
They sure are supplying some SEC teams of talent last few years. Jameer Gibbs, Kyle Kennard, Nick Singleton. I mean, goodness gracious.
You think about like, they're tough. Like Brink Key coaches that team as tough as anybody in the country. So like the fact that they have those weapons, it's all about Jackson Arnold. What can Jackson Arnold do? What can they help him do? And you're right, the Q run stuff is going to be really important, but I think it's more going to be on his arm. And how much can you help out that talented receiver room and make them dynamic?
And the offensive line has the chance to be as good as it's been in 8
That's why I feel good about the run game too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that unit, and again, like we're not like saying you're not dynamic. That's fine. I wasn't dynamic. Like, do you need 5-6 yards?
I tell the Heath Evans story all the time. We were getting our ass kicked in Fayetteville, and we had tried walk-on running back, freshman running back, because they were all quick and fast. And all of a sudden, Heath Evans comes in, and our primary runs are inside zone, outside zone, and truck.
Yeah.
And we run inside zone, and it's like 4.
Yep.
We run inside zone, 8. We run inside zone, 6. We run inside zone, 20.
Yep.
Because he didn't run full speed. And even when he did, he wasn't fast enough for the play to not develop anyway. So him being just a step slower allowed things to sort of open up. And he was like you. He made one cut and he was downhill. Like there wasn't, I don't know what to do. It was, okay, I'm going to go off tackle, bam. And that turned into 6 yards instead of no yards.
And after 6 times of doing that, you know who's not real interested in the next play? The linebacker who had to tackle him.
He may accidentally flow a little too hard on that next play.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a segment for your show tomorrow. You're going to
okay.
This, all right? You do radio with Matt Flynn in the morning.
I do.
He played at least some of his career for Nick Saban.
He did 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, he played 2 years.
So I want you to ask him about this. And then, because Auburn's going to be here tomorrow, you can have the conversation about Jackson Arnold.
Right.
So, Greg, I've been very complimentary about Jackson. I had Oklahoma a couple of times last year. I'm on record saying they benched him too early. Now, I'm not saying they took him out too early.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to bench him when you did.
Right.
Give him a series or two and say, we still love you. We still have confidence. Like, they shut it down.
Right.
And like as you know, it's over usually after that. So Greg and I were talking about this, and I said, as a quarterback, how does he get over the hump of not being able to let go of the ball?
Yeah.
And Greg's like, it's a great observation. I saw what you saw. I was like, Greg, he couldn't throw the football.
Yeah.
And Greg said, let me lay this out for you. And I've never heard this explained this way, and I've never heard anybody else talk about it. He said, when you play quarterback for a defensive-minded coach, the messaging is don't screw up. Don't mess it up. Don't give them the ball. Don't take advantage of things that aren't there. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. He said, so inherently, you play with pause.
Yeah.
And when he said that, Jacob, I immediately thought to myself, would Lane Kiffin ever?
Right.
Would Jeff Levy ever? Would Eli Drinkwitz ever? Would Lincoln Riley ever? Would Steve Sarkisian ever? Never in their lives would they say don't to a quarter. It was, like I know, attack.
Right.
Go. Let's go get them. They throw a pick, they come back. Hey, we get them on the next one. Don't worry about it. Keep attacking that. Keep going after it.
Yeah, like I'd love to ask Flynn that because Flynn played for like Dennis Allen in the NFL, defense coordinator. But like even like a very conservative coach in Les Miles, he wasn't a defensive guy. He played offensive line, but he was so conservative that it was like I don't really know that we should take that chance down the field. I think we should. I'll give you an example. We're playing at Kentucky 07. We lost in triple overtime. Like in overtime, we ran the football 4 straight times. We just ran it 4. We didn't even put it in the air. We had a senior quarterback who was an all SEC type quarterback. We had draftable receivers. 4 straight times we just run the football, right? Because like he didn't want to make the mistake. We had the ball first.
Right.
We get stopped. Charles Scott gets stopped on 4th down because we were going to surprise them and not have me in the game. Thanks, coach.
Shocker.
Real surprise.
The GA in the booth with the binoculars didn't see that you weren't in the game.
It was after the Florida game where like we ran 4th downs 1,000 times. But I'm like, it didn't really work out. But he ran the football because he was so scared that we were going to have a turnover. They were going to get the ball and score. We got stuffed on 4th down. That's a turnover. They got the ball. They scored. We lost.
So Jackson Arnold had an offensive line that was beat to hell. He had his top 3 or 4 receivers out,
All
his
gone,
top running back out. He had an offensive coordinator that had never coached quarterbacks.
Yeah,
They then
right.
got fired.
Yeah.
And then had to try to take coaching from a different coach after he was benched and then brought back to play. So all of that against him. But I'll still say this. Hugh Freeze has to rewire him. He has to unlock him. He needs to be reconfigured because that brain was not right last year. But every bit of ability is there. And I'm with you on some of the potential. But that to me is the biggest part. Hugh's got to coach it.
You're going from a defensive coach to a guy that's been a quarterback guru. The challenge for him is how do I hit factory reset? And if he's figured that out, to your point, all good, ready to go, let's roll. But if he can't release that, that's the only problem I think he'll have. Okay. He's got to be able to hit reset.
It sounds like you're a little higher on the Auburn defense than I am too, but that's
I am.
We can
I am.
I feel good, not great about the Auburn team. I just don't think there's a lot of. I love Celtic Fall.
Yep.
I think DeMarcus Riddick can be great. I love Keontae Scott, but it feels like it's lacking a little something. Hey, I love Quintravious 97 inside. Like he is a boulder in the middle of the deep. Never gets enough credit for what he does, but just something seems to be missing.
If they get into a basketball and grass game, they're in trouble. But if they play like within the hashes, I think that's where they want to win. Okay. So they got to try to, you know this, they have to try to dictate the pace of the game. Yeah. And if they can get that done, I like them between the hashes. You're right. Like if it gets sideline to sideline, I don't feel as great, but I feel good about what they have. Like not even like a front 7. I just think between the hashes, I like it.
Okay. All right. So Alabama, another team that a lot of people have a lot of confidence in. Some people have real pause with. Could easily be in that upper tier category that we've talked about, but there are some. Here's what I've said to a couple of people that I think it hit me after I did like 3 radio interviews today. Yeah. And I said, any other year, we're talking about teams maybe not winning an SEC championship. Like, what's the one thing that dictates that? Quarterback. Bama, Georgia, Texas. Why is that not the thing this year?
Right.
But for some reason, we're like, oh, no,
so glad you said that.
Recruiting. We've seen him play one
so
game.
Glad
it's okay.
You said
it's
that.
okay.
My whole takeaway, my biggest narrative coming here is the teams that have been towards the top, Georgia, Texas, Bama. I'd even throw Tennessee and Ole Miss, like as a wins. I mean, Tennessee made the college football playoff. They have the biggest questions. The ones that got it figured out, Vandy, LSU, Florida, South Carolina, even Oklahoma. I'm a huge John Mateer fan.
I am too.
But like they've got it figured out. The teams that have been there for so long do not have it figured out. What's that look like? How close can these teams get to those set of teams before they get it figured out? Do they get it figured out? That's why, like you talked about earlier, like there's so many teams like right there in the middle of the pack. I think it's like basically everybody, it feels like, of that group that we just talked about. And Alabama's one of those teams. Ty Simpson's not here this week. I think that shows you where that quarterback battle is. They've got a guy that they know that transferred in. Now the coordinator and the head coach know him. They've got a 5-star freshman phenom, everything, with Keelan coming in. So that quarterback battle's not settled. I think they would love for it to be settled.
Right.
They'd have Ty Simpson here if it was settled. And you can't just assume like they're going to get it figured out.
Yeah.
I don't think we can do that yet.
I think the weapons are fine. I think the offensive line has a chance. And as we talked about with Ole Miss tight end, that could be low-key a problem for Alabama because it was so good in certain areas last year. Not stretching the field, not athleticism, but they had two just freaking hammers last year with Dupree and Robbie Hughes. They were like bonus guards on the field.
He's a
And
fullback.
they don't have to have that in DeBoer's offense, but they had that last year. So I don't know if that makes a big impact or not. I do think that the defense can be okay, but like what's super scary?
I agree. Normally,
Deontay Lawson's amazing, but I
right.
think
But normally, we're coming in here talking about like, all right, this edge rusher is going to be top 7 in the NFL draft. Like, we're talking about all right, this middle linebacker. I know middle linebackers don't get drafted high, but he's still going to be a top 10. They got this safety that's pretty much going to be sideline to sideline. Nobody's going to be able to get it. Like, it's not that conversation. I still think they're solid.
Yeah,
I think
year 2 in Kane's defense, they should be because the coverage is very different than it was. They should be more aware of how it operates. But Greg asked me this question on our show the other day, and I'll ask you because once I thought about it, I was really surprised with my own answer. Thinking about a year ago today, did you have more questions going into the season with that Alabama team or this Alabama team?
I think this one for me.
For me, it was last year.
You think it was last year?
Because remember, there was like 20-something kids that left.
Right.
And
I guess
Proctor left and came back.
Right. I guess the Milrow portion of it.
Jeremy Bernard was coming in. We didn't know about Ryan Williams. So we were like, are the weapons going to be good enough? And even though Milrow was there, we were like, is he ready to be that guy? Like,
I guess if you do the caveat of also Coach Saban leaving,
yes,
like that part of it, but at least you knew you had Milrow, and it's like if they use him right, he can be a cheat code. That they didn't always do that, and he didn't always hold up his end, but there was games he certainly did. But like when you don't have a solidified quarterback, like that's what always makes me nervous. Now that means other people have to step up. Like they're going to need running backs to step up on the team. They're going to need every time, Ryan Williams in one-on-one coverage to complete a big play, that type of stuff. And like, me, I'm a huge fan of Kalen DeBoer, have been. I mean, his record speaks for itself, and he's done a lot of great things. Michael Penix, I mean, he won football at Indiana before.
And Fresno.
Right, and Fresno, he had Washington in a national championship game. I'm a huge Kalen DeBoer fan.
Big time.
I love Kane. I think Grubb being back, that's his boy. Like him and Grubb have a relationship where I can look at you, you can look at me. Not a word said. We know what you're trying to get done. So, the question mark though around the quarterback position, I can't get away from, just because I think there's 3 guys and they don't know where the pecking order is right now.
It's fair. Can I steal your segment for tomorrow, Matt, real quick?
Yeah. You want to call him over here?
Yeah, if you want.
Hey, Flynn, they need you over here, and they're live. They need you over here. Yeah.
Like you said, in their live. Like, I'm so you really know that he doesn't know who it is.
Well,
trying to get a chair.
They're live. These people are live.
I'm going to scoot back. Last week, Matt Cole-Cubic. I don't know if we personally.
Well, you can introduce yourself.
I'm going to hold my mic. And go
okay. All right. That's good.
I'm gonna take my credential off.
Okay, so I told Jacob he could steal this and have this on y'all's show tomorrow because I think this is super interesting. We're talking about Jackson Arnold and what he can or cannot be at Auburn next year. We're going through all the difficulties that he faced in that offense last year. And McElroy one day said, listen, let me break this down for you. When you play quarterback for a defensive-minded head coach, the messaging is don't screw this up. Don't throw a pick. Don't make this mistake. Don't give us bad field position. Don't screw it up for the defense. He said, so there's almost inherent pause with a lot of things just because that's the overall messaging to the team. I had never thought of it that way. I never heard it said that way. How real could that be maybe for Jackson Arnold last year? Because you've done it too, playing for Coach Saban. And then maybe now with him coming in to play for Hugh Freeze.
It's anybody that's a thrower, a swinger, a kicker, they have the way you talk to them, the way that you coach them has to you have to understand that position to be it, like the messaging that you give them. Like the worst thing a quarterback could ever do, or anybody that is a thrower, kicker, swinger, is say, don't do something. Don't do this.
Second guess, basically.
Second guess, because you want when you're and I guess defensive coaches don't really understand that. To Greg's point, they coach different. Their mindset's different on defense. But you never even want to bring up in an offensive meeting the word interception. Like we're not going to throw interceptions. We're going to cut down interceptions. No, we're going to cut down our turnovers. We are going to take care of the ball.
There you go.
Like there's a way to frame the messaging that gets the point across. But me and Jake talk about this, and I tell him this all the time. When you think too much, it gets hard. So like the hardest pass for a quarterback to ever complete is a guy that's wide open, like, because you see him wide open and it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to look like an idiot if I miss this.
Right.
So he's wide open and I try to guide the ball. I don't sit there and I just throw it. The thing I've practiced time and time, tens of thousands of reps. You don't do it that way. You try to guide it and push the ball to him. And as young quarterbacks, this is the hardest thing to do because you're thinking too much.
Yeah.
Well, if a coach makes you think too much about interceptions, two things can happen. You can, one, be too careful with the ball and not take your chances. Quarterback, you have to play free. You have to be able to take risks. You have to be able to throw it in tight coverages and throw guys open, be able to read defenders' body language. But when it's like, don't throw an interception, you're thinking about that too much. No, you're waiting until somebody's wide open to throw it. And a lot of times that's too late and interceptions come after that.
Yeah.
So I completely agree. I don't know if that's the message of Venables last year.
Yeah, no
idea.
nobody accusing that, but just Greg saying usually from his experience that was sort of.
I feel like that's probably even at the next level. You play for Dennis Allen. Like when you're in Oakland, he's a defensive coach. I'm sure he's like, hey, we're going to win this game on defense. Run the football. Don't screw it up.
Right. Well, I mean, look, when we started LSU, Saban, defensive-minded coach, but a little, knew how to handle it and let his offensive coaches direct that messaging. It's kind of like telling a kicker, don't miss, right? Hey, don't miss this kick.
Yeah.
Go get him, pal. It's just.
I was telling him,
mindset.
even I felt like Les had kind of a defensive mentality, even though he was an offensive lineman, an offensive coach. I felt like he was like, hey, we're going to run the ball, play great defense with Okolini, and we're going to take a few chances. And it changed a little bit. I guess 06, 07 was more like 05 was like super conservative. But even Les had like a, hey, we're not going to screw this up by giving them the football or take any chance.
Yeah, I mean, the turnover ratio is one of the more important stats that dictates the win-loss column. And that's why Jackson Arnold had the issues last year. I think they were. I was just looking up. I think they were -9 turnover ratio last year, which probably led to him, taking a seat. So, Hugh Freeze knows how to coach offense, knows how to coach quarterbacks. So, we'll see. I think the talent's there, with the arm and the legs.
He's not the only option there either.
Yeah.
No, that's why they went and got Ashton Daniels. I mean, from
Daniels impressive.
Stanford,
I interviewed him a year. He's an impressive young man, and you got a 5-star guy waiting in the wings as well. So, like, that's good. Bring that competition in. Like, don't
100%.
like Jackson just because you're coming in and you were this and that and the other. Like, we're gonna bring these guys in, and you are going to compete. I think that's great for Jackson.
Well, Matt, and where that came from is me watching Jackson last year. Like, he couldn't let go of the ball.
Yep.
And as a quarterback, that can't happen. How do you get past that part of it?
Well, you have to have the right.
You got to have alluded to anticipation a little earlier. Obviously, that would be a big part of it.
A lot of it is confidence, and I think probably a clean slate helps that.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if you have a bad experience in one offense with one coach with the same jersey on, a clean slate's probably one of the best ways to start. We had this change. Jaden Daniels' first year at LSU, watching him, he could not get past read number 1, read number 2, and he had some games. You could see the talent. You could see the throws there. He could make his plays. But there was a time where you could tell his confidence was waning. And I think Brian Kelly got with him and said, hey, dude, let's take some shots.
He's like, throw an interception.
Throw an interception. Just go nuts. Go.
Brian Kelly actually told us that 2 years ago. We had a TV meeting with him, and he said, I sat Jaden down and said, I want you to throw an interception. And he's like, now I don't really want him to throw an interception, but I want him to know it's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to get the ball back again. Our defense is going to play okay. Like, we're still can win the game if you make a mistake. Essentially, like you just said, Matt, go take the shots that are going to provide those big plays.
Yeah, absolutely. And you go back and watch that film. We were watching it, and I was hard on Jaden Daniels when he was first in LSU because of that. He just couldn't pull the trigger. He wasn't. He's just a little bit nervous about taking a risk with the ball and reading, like I said, reading leverage of a defender, knowing when a receiver will come open if I throw it to the right spot. But that is a coach that understands the mentality of what a quarterback kind of the opposite of what we started this conversation talking about. Like, don't do this, don't do that. Hey, go do it. You need to see what it feels like to just let it rip, because good thing, if you prepare the right way and you make the right reads and trust yourself, good things happen.
There you go. Fellas, thank you so much. Matt, appreciate it. Jacob.
And Cole.
Great stuff. First Cube Show live ever.
First
Here at SEC
live
Media
Cube
Days.
show, and he
We
picked
did
2
it.
LSU guys. Go Tigers.
But yeah, got Tigers all the way around and more Eagles too.
It's all
So,
downhill from here.
appreciate you guys tuning in. I think that's going to be it. We'll be back hopefully Wednesday with another live episode from SEC Media Days. Don't forget to subscribe